Welcome everybody to another edition of the VR Chat Show. My name is AJ from PSVR Underground, and today we've got a very special guest, Mr. Jimmy Bowers, today to talk about the new upcoming summer blockbuster, Fracked. Jimmy, thanks for joining us today, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We've also got a slew of different YouTubers and creators that helped put this together, and we've got Chris from Shugghead Gaming, Skeeva from Between Realities Podcast, Alex from Between Realities Podcast as well, Betty from CreeperBettyPSVR, and Jason, TheLivonator VR. We've also got a bunch of great artists that helped design this beautiful room. Help, the show editor and does animations. Noctauto, an artist. Misery, an artist. Mystery, an artist. OnDog, an artist. And Betty, an artist as well. And then, of course, Jason also helping. So, Jimmy, let's start off by getting to know you just a little bit better and tell us a little bit more about yourself, your history, and a little more about the history of nDreams for those who are unfamiliar with your company, which I hear is actually like 100 people strong these days.
Yeah, so we've gone through a period of sort of quite big growth over the last 2 years, which I was a part of. I only joined the company back in March, around the time that we started announcing Fracked to the public. So that was quite a trial by fire of jumping straight on board with the project. So we're starting with nDreams. We're quite an old company in the VR space. So if you've not heard of us before, we sort of started back in 2006. We got our sort of big break in PlayStation Home, making content for that. So like Zai, if anyone played that on PlayStation Home. And then towards the sort of end of the PlayStation Home life cycle, we jumped on board with VR. Our founder, Patrick, saw that as sort of the next evolution of VR games. And yeah, the sort of rest is history, really. Once PlayStation Home closed, we went all in on VR behind games like Shooty Fruity, The Assembly, Phantom Covert Ops last year for Oculus, just in the most recent ones. So yeah, obviously our latest one is Fracked, which is a PlayStation VR exclusive. And yeah, for a little bit more about myself, I started, my career history is a bit varied, to be fair. I left school without really knowing like how to make a career in games. I knew that's what I wanted to do. But yeah, didn't have any actionable advice from school of how to actually make that happen. So I just learnt a trade as like a safety net. So I was a mechanic for about 6 years, but moved into, just by sort of building up things in my free time, moved into games journalism, content marketing, and then through networking at game events and on social media as well, moved into community management. And I did that with an indie developer who was pre-funding to begin with, and then found myself at nDreams, who were the first VR studio that were working in the VR space that I knew the name of, with them being based in the UK, and I am too. So yeah, it's amazing to be able to join that team, because the team itself is made up of like a lot of developers who have been in the industry quite a long time, being able to get that sort of tutorship from people, especially like in the publishing team and in the development team as well. Just across the business, there's people that have been in the industry like 10, 20 years at big global developers and publishers. And yeah, being able to work amongst them. And,
well, that's awesome,
yeah,
man. I mean, I'm a big believer in everything happening for a reason. And, you know, your impact, even though you haven't been there so very long, your impact has been huge. And, you know, you've been really integral into having nDreams have connection with the community and just really doing a great job of spreading the message around. So you are a valuable asset to us and to nDreams, man. So we're very, very lucky to have you. So Fracked is one of the biggest VR games coming exclusively to PlayStation VR this summer, releasing on August 20th or August 17th for those who pre-order the Digital Deluxe Edition. You guys previously did an exclusive on the Oculus Quest entitled Phantom Covert Ops, which was a lot of fun, by the way. And what was the thought process behind now doing an exclusive for PlayStation VR?
Yeah, so PlayStation VR is something we wanted to come back to provide a strong, full gameplay experience. It's not Fracked isn't our first PSVR title, but it is our first exclusive, which was purpose-built for the platform. So with PlayStation Home being like where we got our start, really, we wanted to come back with a sort of a strong entry. And sometimes exclusivity is how games get made, and PlayStation have helped a lot with getting Fracked onto the platform, and they've supported us quite a lot, and they've been a great partner to work with. So yeah, with us coming later in the life cycle for PlayStation VR, we're able to apply a lot of learnings for the platform and sort of these years of experience to really sort of deliver a strong offering.
So before we get into what the game is actually about, nDreams has developed a variety of games from relaxing experiences to side-scrolling beat-em-ups to wave shooters with Killer Fruit, and the more recent, as I just mentioned, Phantom Covert Ops that was on the Oculus Quest, and now Fracked. Has there been a change or inspiration behind taking a more cinematic blockbuster approach in recent time?
So I think as a studio, we're always looking to push the boundaries and experiment a little bit. I think if you look at our back catalogue of titles, no two are alike. And I think the cinematic approach definitely started with Phantom, because although it's not like Fracked, it doesn't rely on the sort of classic action cinema and action hero tropes. I think it's more like a spy thriller. Yeah, it's definitely been something that we've actively pushed going forward, and I think helps with immersion and role play as well. Our creative director, Stephen Watt, really wanted to sort of deliver an experience that was on par with sort of flat screen gaming, so provides you with the sort of flexibility and the depth of gameplay that you're expecting, but with the like immersion and control that you only get in VR. So yeah, we're definitely aiming to create something that gives players more of a full rounded gameplay experience.
Considering that more blockbuster cinematic storytelling has become kind of more of a norm this generation, the previous generations, I'm definitely excited about this direction you guys have got, Fruity and Bloody Zombies myself. So can you tell us what the elevator pitch for Fracked is, what the game is all about?
Yeah, so from a narrative point of view, you play as a retired war hero. So he is retired, had enough of war, decides to move to a remote location in the Alaska wilds just to have like a nice life, basically. And it's quite an idyllic location, but nearby there's a evil corporation who are fracking, and they basically dig too deeply and unlock this sort of ancient threat, which are the Fracked. They're interdimensional, they're parasitic, and basically they've taken over the workforce of this local facility. So you've got to team up with Rosales, who is part of the local mountain rescue, and basically take them on. You're outnumbered and outgunned, but I think he's more than up for the challenge.
I love it. I mean, it sounds like something I would want to go see in the movie theater. Now let's go ahead and hand it over to some of our very special guests here today. Alex, why don't you go ahead and kick things off?
Hey, man, thank you so much. And hey, thanks for joining us, dude. Frack looks awesome. I'm really excited, and congratulations on the release of the game. I've been over here thinking about the demo, and I am curious, has the demo always been a part of the strategy with the release of the game? And what does the full game have that the demo does not?
Cool. Yeah, thank you for your question. The demo itself has always been part of the development plans of the game. They were developed alongside each other, and I think it's just with the PlayStation VR install base being as large as it is, I think our thinking was it provides players with an opportunity to actually check it out before committing to purchase. I know sort of in an ideal world there'd be demos for every game basically every game possible. It's not always possible due to like development timelines and just other things you can't really control, but we're really happy to have gotten that opportunity to provide a demo for Fracked. And yeah, I mean the feedback that we've got from it has been amazing, to be honest. As for what the full game sort of contains that the demo doesn't, so there's so much scope to the game, a lot of awesome set pieces, a lot of really cool firefights, so hopefully you'll really enjoy what's to come.
If the demo was just a taste of what's to come, then yeah, it's going to be awesome. Next, we've got Chris from Shugghead Gaming. Take it away, man.
Jimmy, thanks for joining us. Just a quick shout out, Shooty Fruity. Shooty Fruity is freaking awesome. I love Shooty Fruity. Never mind the space pirate trainer. Shooty Fruity is the wave shooter. Shooting fruit, the gunplay, awesome. Sorry, just had to get that out of the way. But with that off
space
my
pirate
chest now.
Is pretty cool too. But yeah.
Yeah, but you can't shoot fruit.
I don't want to tell Handy you said that.
Processing groceries, that's awesome. Anyways, Jimmy, as a fellow PS4 Pro player and then onto the PS5, I've always looked at PSVR games and wanted to know if I was going to get enhancements with my upgraded hardware. Is that something that was important to you guys? And if so, like what kind of enhancements can people expect for their extra money, I guess?
So yeah, it was always important for us to provide additional features for people that have a PS5. I think just because we're launching during like a cross-generational time, so people have both and there's an install base on both. Yeah, it was important that the game could stand proudly on both the PS4 and PS5, but then subsequently take advantage of the added firepower of the PlayStation 5. So for Fracked, you can expect uncapped dynamic resolution, better frame rate, and better loading times as well.
For everyone, there's actually recent polls that were showing that the majority of VR players on PlayStation are now starting to get PS5s. They're starting to be the majority of PS5s. So perfect timing on that one, and we're really excited about those enhancements for sure. Until, of course, the next generation VR gets to us. But next, we've got a question from Skeeva.
Hey, how's it going? I'm a big fan of nDreams. I really loved Phantom Covert Ops, as well as your other titles. But the Fracked demo was just absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to play the full game. So the locomotion and the cover system feel extremely smooth and satisfying. How hard was it to come up with a solid control scheme using the PlayStation Move controllers? And in what ways do you think it sets itself apart from other games?
So for us, the PlayStation Moves were always a targeting device. I think with the level of immersion we were going for, so it's not just like a gallery shooter. You're expected to ski, climb, use hover tactically. I think the PlayStation Moves really lend themselves to that and that sort of immersion and grounding the player in the game. So yeah, providing players with that sort of level of immersion, I think would be lost on using a gamepad. And as for what the game sort of offers and makes it stand apart, I think basically it's that providing players with a lot of variety for traversal, a lot of scope in the actual gameplay. I don't think we'd have got that if we hadn't have used the Move, basically.
That cover system is a real beauty. It really needs to be the standard for first-person shooters moving forward, I think. It's just so seamless and smooth, and it's fun, and it's functional, too, and just something that really hasn't become standardized enough. So hope that catches on with more developers as well.
Yeah, I was speaking to our creative director, and he actually said that it helps with like the disconnect people can have when they get like sort of motion sickness in VR. With you actually having to physically grab the cover, he noticed in like playtesting that it actually like grounded the player in the world, because you move as you would in the real world. I think they've definitely developed a great way to use cover.
That's cool. That's an interesting data point. I wouldn't have connected with, reducing motion sickness. That's, of course, something we're trying to do. So, Alex, you got another question for us, man?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much. My question kind of ties back into what I was thinking about earlier. Is this a game with some meat on the bones? How many hours roughly does it take someone to get through the story? And, what are the expectations there?
Okay, yeah. So for us, the price point was a conscious choice. So it definitely offers a full campaign at the price point it is at. It's hard to put a flat number on it just because it depends on your ability, the difficulty you're playing on, and a lot of other variables, as well as sort of final fine-tuning and balancing. So I couldn't really put a flat number on it, to be honest. But yeah, it is definitely a full campaign.
So now, Jason.
I'd really like to thank you guys for giving me the chance to test and give you my input on the upper mobility issues for Phantom Covert Ops. And I really want to thank you guys for making this for seated players and disabled players like myself. Was that always the thought process when you guys were building the game? Or was it influenced by people outside for you to actually make it this way? Because I know I'd heard in an interview that you had mentioned that you kind of went that route.
So it's definitely both, to be honest. there's a lot of learnings from Phantom Covert Ops, which was obviously seated. But for us, it was more about providing players with options. We obviously want to cater to people that have like really strong VR ceilings. They don't need accessibility options. But we wouldn't want to force those kind of options like FOV vignetting and everything onto someone that doesn't need them. But also we want to provide those options on the fly to make the game as accessible as possible as well. So yeah, I think providing seated play as the default. I know a lot of VR players prefer seated, but yeah, we obviously wanted to provide a wide scope of things you can, of accessibility options that you can take advantage of. So you don't need to back out to the main menu to apply any of these settings. So you can, put FOV vignetting on. You can choose to stand if you want, there's click turning and things like that, as you'd expect. But yeah, these are things that you can customize to your own preferences. So for us, it's about providing players with options more than anything.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I know a lot of the people out there are more of the hardcore standing players, but I always appreciate when the developers take that into consideration, because some of the games are just tough. Like sometimes people don't want to make the changes, and some games are unplayable for people out there. But I love people that do, because that makes your game so much more open for people, and that a lot of people will end up purchasing it, which is what the goal is in the end, right there for you. So thanks again for doing that.
Yeah, VR games are rather unique in that have a lot of movement involved. So we always preach options, options, options. So, for all the different, like you mentioned earlier, there's so many different skill sets, so many different play styles, preferences, whatever. And it's nice that you guys have everybody covered. That's really the best you can do. So great job there. But nDreams has recently opened a new studio, nDreams Studio Orbital. And that is said to have a focus on VR that continues to grow and evolve over time. Does that entail that these will be online or multiplayer games?
Okay, yeah. So it's like a fairly new announcement that we've opened a new studio, and we're obviously excited to be growing at the rate that we're growing at, and to explore other genres as well that we haven't really explored before. I can't really. It's not really my area speciality, but we're looking forward to sharing more in the not too distant future. But at the moment, the studio's still in its infancy, so we've not got really any more announcements other than that.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the expansion, and really looking forward to seeing what comes out of that studio as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Chris from Shugghead Games, we got another question from you, please.
Jimmy, obviously the thing on everyone's lips these days, especially in your PSVR community, is PSVR 2. I was just curious how nDreams and especially I guess the development team, how are they looking at that? Are they excited about it? Is there anything in particular, especially with the DualSense controllers and stuff? I would imagine there's some cool creative stuff they could do. Is there any buzz in the office around it?
Yeah, we're all very excited for the next-gen PlayStation VR, yeah. I know from a personal point of view, I'm really excited that PlayStation have sort of renewed their commitment to VR, because PlayStation VR itself has been sort of instrumental in getting VR to a wider player base and a wider audience. But at the moment, we're definitely not at the end of the line either. I mean, there's still some amazing games coming out within the next few months, just to say the least. We're definitely looking forward to the future of VR, that's for sure.
Now, just a quick follow-up to that, with the recent leaked information that Parole managed to break, clap, clap, are you guys, and in talking about remasters of PSVR games, bringing them over to the new console, would that be something that nDreams would then consider, possibly?
Yeah, for Fracked specifically, there's no plans for that at the moment. But, I mean, never say never, but yeah, like I say, at the moment, there's no plans for that.
Cool, thanks.
The game is almost set to, it's set to release. It's about to drop for us. But some of us are already excited about what could potentially happen in the future. Do you guys have any plans with this game regarding any future DLC or story content or cosmetics, anything like that you'd like to get after launch?
So similar to the next-gen VR question, really. At the moment, we're focused on sort of the Fracked launch and getting the game out there and out the door for people to play. There's no sort of plans at the moment, but again, never say never. Yeah.
Especially when it launches and it's like raking in the dough, you guys are probably going to want to add a couple things to it, to say thank you to all the people that bought it and supported it and loved it, I'm guessing. So I got a couple fun questions. First, what is your, Jimmy Bowers, favorite thing about Fracked?
Ooh, good one. Other than the art style, which I do really love, I'd probably say it's watching like the empowerment people get from it. So I've watched a few playtests, and I've obviously been through it myself, where people do start Fracked like a gallery shooter, so they don't really think to use cover. They're running around the environment with the freedom of movement, but then as the game goes on and more enemies enter like the battle arenas and you're forced to have to take cover, it's seeing people basically turn into John McClane or John Wick and like shooting over the shoulder, blind firing. It's just that slow progression of, right, okay, I need to play this differently, and just how the role play affects people is really funny to see.
Yeah, I mean, as a nerd and RoboCop and Cliffhanger and all these action movies, it's definitely gives you that feeling, like you said, of empowerment and be the action hero. You can already tell it's going for that, and I think that's a great approach to the game, to just be fun and action-packed. So another little fun question for you. What does the team like to do for fun? Like when you've been coding all day, you've been marketing all day, doing everything you can, and then you guys need to just like relax, maybe have some team building activities. What do you guys like to do for fun over there at nDreams?
So it's been a little up in the air due to obviously COVID and remote work. So we're we're mostly remote based at the moment, but we've still got like a few clubs in our company Slack. So like for watching films, there's one for the artists as well, who set each other like fun challenges every week, based on just like they'll get like a 1 word or 2 words, like I don't know, scallop coffee or something, and then have to come up with a concept from that in like 20 minutes, which is really cool. We're at the moment we're looking forward to sort of towards the end of the year when we're looking forward to doing it towards the end of the year. We're looking forward to like going to VR arcades together, because there's still a large portion of the team who haven't met each other in real life beyond Teams. Like there's still like 80% of the studio I've never seen in person. So yeah, definitely looking forward to actually doing things in person.
That's awesome. Yeah, we all are for sure. Well, before we start to wrap things up here, is there anything else you'd like to add regarding Fracked?
I think the main point is if we can sort of shout from the rooftops about how excited we are for it and how good the game is, but with the demo being out there for people to play, make your own minds up, check it out for yourself. It's available on the PlayStation Store worldwide. Go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody watching right now needs to go out and download that demo right away. Check it out. They're very I like how they show confidence, and once you play it, you will see why. It totally backs it up, and just couldn't be more excited. What's up, Chris?
One last thing, Jimmy. We've talked a lot about kind of, I guess you have spoken a lot about this being kind of a action spy movie type thing. No kind of mincing words, are we talking James Bond? Because as a huge Bond fan, I'm getting some pretty heavy Roger Moore era ski sequence type things going on here. I almost expect to see a Lotus driving down here. Is James Bond kind of an influence here?
It was one of the influences, definitely, yeah. So Die Hard, James Bond, Rambo, I believe. That sort of era of cinema. A lot of different Arnold Schwarzenegger movies of that time. Yeah, they're all sort of an inspiration for Fracked.
Well, it kind of has to with the whole, he's retiring and he's found his peace. And then he's back in action. That's your typical 80s, 90s movie right there. Awesome stuff. Thanks for that.
Now, it would be criminal not to actually mention the soundtrack. I absolutely love the music. The beginning, you're like skiing. There's like this little build up of some like little techno stuff building up. But then there's like a symphony like that occurs, and then once you get into the action, it's like thumping, like synth wave, kind of 80s inspired music. Who does the music for the team or for the game? And yeah, they did an absolutely great job.
Yeah, thank you. They've had a lot of fun with it, definitely. So it's Matt and Callum in our sound team. They use loads of different samples from like 50s orchestral to like house music. There's a massive spectrum there, and yeah, they've definitely had fun.
Is there any chance we might be seeing the soundtrack available?
Yeah, so if you pre-order the deluxe edition and order it once it's out, obviously, you get a digital soundtrack, digital art book as well, and the 72 hours early access if you pre-order. So yeah, that's part of the deluxe edition.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to be putting in that soundtrack and giving it a listen. Well, Jimmy, where can we find you, nDreams, the team, the game on social media?
Yeah, so we've had our own Discord, so it's discord.gg/nDreams. Our primary platform publicly is probably Twitter, so it's at nDreams VR, and my primary platform is Twitter as well, so at Jimmy S. Bowers. But yeah, that's probably where you can keep up to date with all our most recent announcements.
Awesome. Well, in that article that came out, I think it was, I don't remember if it was VentureBeat, but it, they mentioned that nDreams is working right now. So you guys out there might want to be following to see what nDreams has in store for us in the future. Well, Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us today, man. It was an absolute pleasure. We are so excited for Fracked. I cannot say that enough. The hype levels are through the roof. Thank you to everybody here who joined us today to contribute, and to all the wonderful artists that made this amazing set. This set will be opened up after this interview goes live, so make sure you come into Rec Room and check it out. Get you some skiing, play with the gun some. There's so many activities. There's a zip line you need to check out that we showed off in the beginning intro. And yeah, thank you, of course, the viewers, for watching. I'm AJ from PSVR Underground. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll see you on the next episode of the VR Chat Show.
Woo!
Woo! Yeah!